This is the Schmo with the Pro, with one of the greatest mixed martial artists on planet Earth, the future Hall of Famer, the ONE Championship fighter, Demetrious Mighty Mouse Johnson in the flesh, fight ready, Scottsdale, Arizona. How we doing?
Doing good, man. I'm doing good.
You're out here training with the former foe, Henry Cejudo. It's been about a week now. You're joining up with the enemy.
No, we're not. We're frenemies. That's what he said last time, right? I got a house out here in Arizona. Me and Henry have always had respect between one another, right? Even though we fought twice, 1-on-1. And so why not, share knowledge and get some working together. Beautiful facility at Fight Ready. I mean, it only makes sense.
It only makes sense, too, because you're preparing for the rematch against Adriano Moraes, 1/161, August 26th, Singapore. Why is Henry the perfect person for you to train with?
Well, I mean, obviously, I have a house out here, and me and Henry, we fought twice. He's fought guys. Me and him are kind of in the same boat, right? We're both shorter guys. When he fought Dominic Cruz, a guy who likes to run, move, do a lot of movement, I felt he really handled, covering distance very well, right? And honestly, he's very good. A lot of people don't give him a lot of respect that what he's accomplished in mixed martial arts because, they're cringe or whatever, but he's really fucking good. And so for me, whether it's develop my skills or just working, I don't see why not. I think it would be stupid of me to come here and be like, oh, I'm not going to go train with him. We fought twice, That's someone who has an ego. I don't have an ego. Like, I always want to love and share knowledge and just try to make each other better.
With someone who has all the title defenses, all those records in the flyweight division, where did you feel you needed to improve on the most for this training camp?
Just overall, just developing overall, right? If I can pick one thing up, train out here, with Henry, and just be able to, out of my whole entire career, all my title defenses, I've never brought anybody into my camp. I've never gone outside of my camp, right? So that's a very long time, and I've always been successful, not, going somewhere else or bring people in. Now I'm at a point in my career, I'm like, you know what, I'm gonna start exploring. I'm out here in Arizona, why not, right? Like, Henry's very successful, so I just think it's a no-brainer. Why not do it?
So there's a lot of commotion a few years back when you were traded for Ben Askren, ONE Championship over now to the UFC and vice versa. Do you feel satisfied only if you're holding that gold strap for ONE Championship in the flyweight division?
No, I'm satisfied whether I get the belt or not. I mean, I think my move over to ONE Championship was a good move for me, business-wise, and just to be able to test myself. Like, for me, I think the best fighters in the world to be on that upper echelon, you got to be able to fight on both sides of the pond, right? Like, when I look at Rampage Jackson, Mauricio Shogun, Hua, Vanderlei Silva, Crow Cop, I mean, the list just goes on and on and on. Those guys started in Asia, and then they finished in America. Now, I started in America, now I'm finishing in Asia. So for me, in my book, I'm glad that I'm able to fight on both sides of the world.
What's very interesting about the first matchup is he finished you by that knee when you were on the ground.
Yeah. Well, it's funny, if you talk to Henry, you talk to No Chance, it's a totally different ball game, right? Like, when me and Henry, we did 5 rounds a day, and then I think yesterday we did 4 rounds, and I was kneeing him in the face, and he goes, dude, that's hard to deal with. I was like, exactly. It's like, because you're in that limbo, right? Like, you're trying to get up and ask for being a wrestler. You're always trying to get up. So for me, it's like, I got blasted with it. And Henry goes, yeah, now I see why you got fucking blasted with it. So, but it's part of the game. It's the rule.
Yeah, that's where the Schmo was going with this. Where do you feel the rules draw a line when it comes to mixed martial arts? Because we're talking about elbows, we're talking about knees, and if you're in different organizations, some can be considered a ground opponent, and you can't use all your weapons.
Yeah, I think at the end of the day, mixed martial arts, you look at the early Stone Age days of it, they're grabbing each other's balls, eye gouging. It was no holds bars, right? So, obviously ONE Championship, they had, kicks to opponents on the ground. But they got rid of that now. You can knee your opponent on the ground. And why they have that, it's just to keep the fight going, right? No stalling, just keeping the fight going and being active. So for me, it's kind of hard where you draw that line. Like, it's just the rules. It is what it is.
So now that you've trained with Henry Cejudo, he's called out everybody. He just called out Sugar Sean O'Malley. He's called out Aljamain Sterling. He's called out Volkanovski.
He hasn't called out? Your boy right here, he know better to call me the fuck out. No, I'm playing, nah. Yeah, he's calling out everybody, but, Henry's a smart, intelligent guy. He has a skill set to beat any one of those guys, right? For me, I believe everybody's beatable, right? It's all about who's going to go out there and execute the game plan, who's going to stay healthy through training camp, who's going to stay healthy during the fight, right? So Do I think he could beat those guys? Absolutely. I think Volkanovski would be the toughest test because I think it'll be a mirror image because Volkanovski understands the game. He's tough, he's gritty, and he's gonna come to compete.
So if you were to vote, that'd be the matchup you'd like to see of all those names that Schmo just mentioned.
You know, I would like to see. This is me as a fan, a fight fan. I would like to see Henry get back in there and get. He's already in the USADA pool. Let him get back in there and let him get like a fight, 1 fight, 2 fights, right? And then have him fight Volkanovski. But at the end of the day, you know, if I had to choose all those guys he wants to fight, shit, just give him Volkanovski. Volkanovski's beat everybody in the division. But I like to see Henry earn it. I want to see Henry earn it.
Who's Mighty Mouse's Mount Rushmore for greatest mixed martial arts of all time?
See, it's different, right? Because I like guys who can do it all. Grapple, strike, wrestle, that are on. Like Gegard Mousasi, even though he just lost his belt, I still have him on my, I still think he's one of the greatest to ever do it. Obviously, John Jones. And, that's what just comes to my mind right there. Like, guys who are just complete, who can do it all. I mean, Daniel Cormier is really great, but I would love to see more submissions from Daniel Cormier, right? Like, Daniel Cormier's got the, the knockouts or whatever, arm choke, but I want to see somebody take his back, over the top of the arm bar, and that's just my background from, being with Matt Hume for so long, just being a complete fighter.
And what can we expect to see from you come August 26th in Singapore? We're going to be on Amazon Prime One Championship. What can the world expect from Mighty Mouse?
Just another fight. My last fight against Rodson came out there banging and slinging. Got to finish with that guy, and with Adriano Moraes, who's going to come out there and fight again and just try to take it to him.
And that's why you're such a great, and you're so undervalued. In that Ron-Tang fight, they had you do what? Muay Thai rules, then switch up to MMA? That's why you got him in the second round, man. And you were able to bang with him in the first.
Yeah, that fight was fun. Like I said, being in the UFC for so long and, having the longest reigning title defense, my biggest thing was when I went to ONE Championship, I knew I had the opportunity to do different things, right? If I would have stayed in UFC, that would never have been able to be possible, right? And Rodtang's probably one of the biggest stars over there in Asia, Thailand. My friends that I talk day to day, spend my life with, they don't even do mixed martial arts. I don't even watch this shit. But I was like, hey man, I'm fighting Rodtang. Like, you fight him? So it was a big fight. Very happy. It was probably my biggest fight. That would probably be my biggest fight in ONE Championship because everybody knows him. You know what I mean? Like,
not the Grand Prix.
Nobody knows any of those guys. Like, if I say I'm fighting, and it's suddenly gets those guys, it just is what it is, right? But, if I say, hey, I'm fighting Adriano Moraes, I'm like, who is that? If I say, hey, I'm fighting Rodson, you fighting that motherfucker? He's crazy as hell. It's just the star power those guys had. So that was a perfect fight for me to fight against Rodson because he was a big star.
He's the pro. I'm the Schmo. Fight ready, Scottsdale, Arizona. We're out.